Nothing better than some Jesus and Noah. Look at Noah. Shout out Noah. Jesus after practice. You know, I should do this after practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays too. I'm just going to read some Jesus to everyone. Hey, waving. So we finished the book of Genesis. We are now on the book of Exodus, the second book of the Bible. We're about to read it. If y'all got questions or, about anything. Yeah, we live, man. We live. Jesus time. With special guest Noah. Let's go. Noah's out here. Noah. Matter of fact, we're going to popcorn read. No, just kidding. All right, let's read this thing. Back to crazy names, man. These are the names of the sons of Israel who came to Egypt with Jacob, each with his household: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. God, like Gad. I always say like God, but not G-O-D. G-A-D, all right. All the descendants of Jacob were 70 persons. Joseph was already in Egypt. Then Joseph died, and all his brothers and all the generations. But the people of Israel were fruitful and increased greatly. They multiplied and grew exceedingly. New king over Egypt who did not know Joseph, and he said to his people, "Behold, the people of Israel are too many and too mighty for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, and if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land." Some paranoid people out there in Egypt, man. Let us deal shrewdly. Therefore they set... Oh, wait, no, I'm skipping a part, my bad. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, and if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land. Therefore they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with heavy burdens. They built for Pharaoh store cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied, and the more they spread abroad. The Egyptians were in dread of the people of Israel, so they ruthlessly made the people of Israel work as slaves and made their lives bitter with hard service in mortar and brick and all kinds of work in the fields. And all their work they ruthlessly made them work as slaves. Then the king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, and one of whom was named Sifra, and the other Puah, P-U-A-H, Puah. When you serve as midwife to the Hebrew women and see them on the birth stool, if it is a son, you shall kill him, but if it is a daughter, she shall live. But the midwives feared God and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but let the male children live. So the king of Egypt called the midwives and said to them, "Why have you done this? And let the male children live." The midwives said to Pharaoh, "Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are vigorous and give birth before the midwife comes to them." So God dealt with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew very strong. And because the midwives fear God, he gave them families. Then Pharaoh commanded all the people, "Every son that is born to the Hebrews, you shall cast into the Nile, but you shall let every daughter live." So Pharaoh's paranoid. He doesn't want, he just doesn't want Egyptian boys being born. He thinks that they're going to get overthrown, and he doesn't want that because he's the one who's in charge, right? So he's just like, you know what, let's get all the boys, and let's go ahead and let's just, what do they say? Unalive them, right? Let's unalive them, right? So then the midwives, though, they're looking out for the Israelites, and they're like, you know what, let's go ahead and not do that. And the Pharaoh's like, yo, why are all these people being born? And they're like, dude, they just be having them mad fast before we even get there. And he's just like, okay, well, when they're born, let's throw them in the Nile, because he's just a big hater. And now we're on part 2, right? We're chapter 2 already. Now a man from the house of Levi went and took his wife, a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him 3 months. Then she could hide him no longer. She took for him a basket made of bulrushes and daubed it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds by the river bank. And his sister stood at a distance to know what would be done to him. Fun fact, the word for basket used right there in the original Hebrew is the same word used to describe the ark in Genesis. The more you know, would be done to him. Now the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river while her young woman walked beside the river. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her servant woman, and she took it. When she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby was crying. She took pity on him and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. So the girl went and called the child's mother, and Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages. So the woman took the child and nursed him. When the child grew older, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses because she said, I drew him out of the water. So just like that, Pharaoh goes from wanting to kill all these dudes, unalive, right? I don't get shadow banned. Unalive all these Hebrew kids to mistakenly raising one for his own. Very interesting thing to think about. Israeli people, or the Israelites, and Egyptian people should almost be like you shouldn't be able to tell them apart, because like how's this guy gonna, like, if he's ordering all the Hebrews to be like all Hebrew boys to be thrown into the river, then when he's looking at Moses grow up in his house, he's got to not realize that that's a Hebrew kid, so they got to look very similar to Egyptian people, right? You would think. Otherwise, he would just been like, okay, let's throw Moses into the river too, because he's like, that guy's obviously not one of us. So just something to think about. One day when Moses had grown up, he went out to his people and looked on their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his people. He looked this way and that, and seeing no one, he struck down the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Struck down being another word for kind of unalive. When he went out of the next day, behold, 2 Hebrews were struggling together, and he said to the man in the wrong, Why do you strike your companion? He answered, Who made you a prince and judge over us? Do you mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? Then Moses was afraid and thought, Surely the thing is known. When Pharaoh heard of it, he sought to kill Moses, but Moses fled from Pharaoh and stayed in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. The shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and saved them and watered their flock. When they came home to their father Reuel, he said, How is it that you have come home so soon today? They said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds and even drew water for us and watered the flock. He said to his daughters, Then where is he? Why have you left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content and dwell with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah. She gave birth to a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. During those many days the king of Egypt died, and the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery and cried out for help. Their city for rescue from slavery came up to God, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered the covenant with Abraham and Isaac, with Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. That's already chapter 2. This book is flying by, man. People say it's hard to read the Bible. Did anyone say anything? That's why I don't really have any questions, but love watching. I appreciate you, man. It's really nothing I'm saying. This is all just the word of God, you know what I mean? Wave at people, wave at people, wave at people. Sorry, man. I feel like I'm doing God a disservice today because, like, I'm kind of rushing through because I got to go to the laundromat right now. But We got one more chapter today.
You know, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like, so the Pharaohs.
Hold up. We got one of you, but like right here.
So the Pharaoh, like, he says, okay, we're going to put all the Israelites in the river, or the Israelite boys in the river, right?
Yeah.
And, like, Moses' mom essentially does the same thing, but God is like, you can do that, but it won't matter because I'm going to protect him. Like, he had to, right? Like, there's no way you put a baby in a basket in a flowing river and it lives without, like, divine intervention.
Oh,
Right.
100%. That's the thing. God will use, right? God will use whatever's happening into your life for the goodness of his kingdom, right? For the glory of his kingdom. So he didn't even take away what the Pharaoh was doing. The Pharaoh was like, all Hebrew boys in the river. And sure enough, Moses ended up in the river like the Pharaoh wanted, but divinely protected. Because that's what God does. He'll let you do what people are causing you to do, but he will still or even ordering, but he'll use it for the goodness of his kingdom, his plan, the glory, all glory to God all times. Richie, what's up, Richie? Shout out to my cousin Richie. What's up, guys? Just reading about Jesus out here. All right, last chapter for today, chapter 3. Moses just kind of killed some dude, and unalived some dude. You would think, dude, I'm gonna get banned. He just unalives an Egyptian. They found out about it, so he dipped. He didn't want to be in Egypt no more. And then, funny enough, he meets someone at a well, right? And you know that's where Isaac meets Rachel, his wife too. So you know, if you want to find a woman, just go to a nice well. That's where the wives be at. You know. All right. What up, Brody? What's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. I don't think I've seen you probably in like 10 years, to be honest. Hope you're doing good, man. Now Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law, Jethro, the priest of Midian, and led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses, and he said, Here I am. Then he said, Do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you're standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Actually, you guys were asking me like what the name of what the writing on my sweaters mean, and it comes from this part of the Bible right here. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I have heard their cry because of their taskmaster. I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of the land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And now behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. Come, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? He said, But I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said to God, If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, The God of your father has sent me to you, and they ask me, What is his name? What shall I say to them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. So like that's this right here. Right. This right here, the beginning of this right here is what God says. He says, I am. This is God's name as he, what's the word? Not displayed it. What word am I looking for? Presented himself to Moses. He said, I am that I am. And this is the interesting part of the I am that I am. This is like the oldest script that we kind of have around. It predates Egyptian hieroglyphics. It's Proto-Canaanite, And so it's like these mean letters, but they also mean words. So when God says, I am that I am, this is the craziest thing. He's saying, behold the nail, behold the hand. And whose hand has a nail in it? It's Jesus. So God was saying, I am that I am. And also, kind of because he's so elaborate and awesome, was pointing toward Jesus thousands of years before anyone even knew what Jesus was. Crazy. But I am that I am who I am. And he said, say this to the people of Israel, I am. He sent me to you. And just to go to explain that. So like God is, that's how he explained himself, because he just is. Like he doesn't have a name. It's like his name is he is. Like how do you describe someone who exists outside of everything? He just is. So they're like, who are you? And he's like, I am. It's one of the hardest things. I think it's one of the coldest things that like God says in the whole Bible. He's like, who are you? I am. You're like, dang, beast. But God also said to Moses, say this to the people of Israel, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, has appeared to me, saying, I have observed you and what has been done to you in Egypt, and I promise that I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt, of the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will listen to your voice, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of Hebrews, has met with us, and now please let us go. A 3 days journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. After that, I will let you go. After that, he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And when you go, you shall not go empty, but each woman shall ask of her neighbor and any woman who lives in her house for silver and gold jewelry and for clothing. You shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, so you shall plunder the Egyptians. Thank you for reading some word to me, brother. God bless you and your beautiful family. The crop is ripe, but the laborers are few. Keep bringing sheep home. God bless, man. I appreciate that. You know, I don't do this for me. I just do this for Jesus. Right, Noah?
Real one.
I do this for Noah too. But yeah. So God's telling, just to end that chapter 3, God is telling him, look, man, don't worry about how you can get the people out of Egypt. He's like, there's going to be some pushback. Don't worry about it, but I got you. Just do what I say. Time to let your people go. And y'all going to be out of there in the land of paradise. Don't trip. Essentially, right? Okay. So that's chapter 3. Already 3 chapters into the book. Tomorrow we'll do 4, 5, and 6. And we'll try to keep this. You know, we're already a book down. You know? You got anything to add today?
Yeah, come train with Gabe, Gifted Ministry,
Oh.
Gifted MMA, and then you can learn how to fight and you can learn about Jesus. Those are 2 awesome things to do.
He's not wrong. Fighting and learning about Jesus are, like, I would say, some of the best things to do.
I definitely agree.
But God bless, guys. Hopefully, you know. Oh man, I jumped right in. I didn't even pray before I got into it. I pray that anyone who needs to hear anything that we said today, or you know, they hear it, it sits with them. They don't just hear it, but they truly listen, and you know, it settles inside of them. And I just pray that this video is seen by all those who need to be seen. And if you guys are seeing, don't watch this while you're driving. I'll say if you're seeing this while you're driving your car home. But if you're watching, I just pray that you're home safe, that you make it home safe if you're not safe already. And you know, just thank you guys. Thank everybody who just is a part of this and wants to be part of this. And, you know, I'm going to continue to do this. So God bless you guys. And just Noah's also on his way to get a 6-pack. So just keep that in mind.
Pray for me. Pray for me to get a 6-pack.
God bless, guys. Have a good one. Good night.